let us discuss distributed systems, the basic concepts of distributed systems, and followed by examples of distributed systems, starting with characterization of distributed systems in the first unit. So here we are going to cover three topics. So one is defining the distributed systems, resource sharing and the web, design challenges of distributed systems. So in the first topic we are going to see what are the various definitions given by the various authors, and followed by resource sharing and the web. So we are going to see what is the importance of web in the resource sharing, and we are going to see what are the applications with it, and followed by design challenges of distributed systems. So there are some requirements for designing of the distributed systems. So let us see those design challenges. So starting with defining distributed systems. So various definitions of distributed systems have been given in the literature. For example, this is one of the examples. So there are many definitions given by many authors. So let us see one by one. So this is the first one, where a collection of logically related data that is distributed over different processing nodes of computer network. So basically how we are going to define the distributed systems means, a group of computers which are connected with a network so that we can exchange the data between them. So which we can call it as resource sharing. So any definition that we are going to see in any of the textbooks, will be defining that concept only. So like how they are connected and how the message passing is going to be done, right? So a collection of logically related data that is distributed over different processing nodes of a computer network. So logically related data is going to be distributed, is going to be shared among n number of computers which are connected to a network. So that is what we are defining. So here each and every computer is called a node. We will call it as a node, right? So the definition above does not provide all characteristics of distributed systems. So in this definition we are not seeing the entire characteristics of distributed systems. So that's the reason. So we are going for the next definitions. Okay, so which will define the definition distributed systems more precisely. So let us see how to define the distributed systems in a more precise way, right? So here, and anyways, it is very difficult to define the distributed systems exactly, which will define entire characteristics. But let us see which will be more precise one. May not be all characteristics, but let us see which is going to be defining the distributed systems in a precise way, right? So this is the another way of defining of the distributed systems. So a distributed system is a collection of independent computers that appear to the users of the system as a single computer. So here in this definition what we are going to have the characteristic means, so the distributed systems are having a number of systems which are independent in nature, means they are not depending upon one another, and they are connected to the network, and to the end user it will be treated as a single application, single computer. So single computer. So like that, so the distributed system is a collection of independent computers that appears to be a single system to the end user. So as an end user, he will see the distributed network as a single system, okay, from where he is working from. And with any definition, so sharing of resources is main motivation for constructing distributed systems. So if you take any definition, the final motivation will be only the sharing of the resources, how the resources are going to be shared from one node to another node. So that is the final motive of any of the definition, which is defining distributed systems. And in this course we define distributed systems more precisely in this form. So as I said, the more precise way of distributed systems means, it is going to show few characteristics which will be there in the distributed systems. So a distributed system is one in which hardware or software components located at networked computers communicate and coordinate their actions only by message passing. So in distributed systems, okay, so how we can characterize means, so either the hardware or software components will be located at network computers, which is nothing but the computers are connected all over the world with a connecting network. So it may be internet or ethernet, whatever it may be. So it is going to be connected all the computers so that the data can be transferred. So here we have seen one characteristic called as hardware or software components located at network computers. Means and heterogeneous systems are going to have connected in a network and communicate and coordinate their actions. So this is another characteristic we can say. So where the communication is going to take place between the nodes and coordinate their actions by the message passing. So they are going to coordinate with one another to perform its task. Okay, so through the network, so simply by sending the messages to one system to another system. So that is what the precise way of defining the distributed system. In this, there are few characteristics where we can say heterogeneous systems. So different systems with different softwares and hardwares are called as heterogeneous systems, and these heterogeneous systems are going to connect with one another to pass the messages and to accomplish a task. And that is one characteristic we can say. And next one, communicate and coordinate. So the computers are going to communicate with one another and coordinate with one another to perform a specific task. So that is what called as another characteristic. With their actions and message passing. So with the help of message passing only it is going to be done. Okay. So that is what we can say the precise way of defining the distributed systems. So in which only few of the characteristics are shown. Apart from these characteristics, there are many others. We'll see in the next upcoming topic. So networks of computers are everywhere. So if you are talking about the networks which are connecting all the distributed systems which are all over the world, so will be of different types. The networks may be of different types. So we can see the networks anywhere. Okay, in our real life we are going to see the networks like this in these areas. So examples of networks of computers are mobile phone networks. We all are using the mobile phones, right? So mobile phones will have the networks. Okay, and corporate networks, the networks which are being used in the corporates by the corporates, and factory networks. So in the factories, whatever the networks they are going to be used, they are said to be the factory networks. Campus networks. So in the college we also have the networks, right? So all those can be called as campus networks. Home networks and in-car networks. So within the car, if there is any network connectivity, is called as in-car networks. In the hi-fi cars, we are going to see this in-car networks. And on-board networks in aeroplanes and trains. So in the aeroplanes and trains also we will have on-board networks, so which will connect all the n number of devices. So these are all the examples of networks, or we can say network computers which are connected to the network. And next one, so our definition of distributed systems has the following significant consequences. So in all these distributed systems, okay, whenever you are achieving the distributed systems means, so there will be some consequences related to that. So let us see one by one. The first one is called as concurrency. So in the distributed network, as we are saying that they are going to communicate and coordinate by means of message passing. So multiple number of messages has to be shared to the other systems in the distributed network. So this will happen only when there is a concurrency. Concurrency means, so multiple number of messages has to be sent at a time. Okay, so one message cannot be sent. One by one message is not possible in the distributed network, and there is no use with that. So because of that reasons, the concurrent messages has to be sent. Concurrently the message has to be sent to the end clients. So that is one of the major consequences we may have. And no global clock. So as the distributed network is wide in nature, so all the distributed systems may be there in different areas, different regions, okay, different countries, and we are going to connect with them. So there will be no global clock here. Okay, so in India we are going to follow some time zone. So in USA we are going to have another time zone. Okay, so like that there will be no global clock. There is no any common global clock. So that is also one consequences we need to take care of while designing of the distributed systems. and independent failures. So independent failures are nothing but, so as we are saying that n number of systems are connected in a distributed network, right? So in that, if any one system fails, it should not affect the other systems in the network. Means that, so it is not depending upon the other systems. The system which has been failed, it should not affect the other systems which are connected in the network. So that is what called as independent failures. It should not depend upon the other systems. If one system fails, the rest of the systems has to continue its task. It should not stop. It should not get affected with the failed system. So that is what called as independent failures. So that is also one of the challenge we have. And that is what the basic concepts of distributed systems. And let us see the basic examples of distributed systems where we can see in our real life. So these are the general examples of the distributed systems, starting with internet, intranets, and mobile networks. So coming to the internet, so as we are very familiar with the term internet, so internet is basically it's a vast interconnected collection of computers, networks of many different types. So we are all using the networks in our daily life, in which our mobile phones, our laptops, our computers are connected with the Wi-Fi, right? So Wi-Fi is received from the network service provider. So but basically, so all these internet connections are said to be the internet, so which is connecting some n number of computers with a network. Okay, so all these computers, all these devices are going to be connected with the internet. So multimedia services are available in the internet, enabling users to access audio and video data, including music, radio, TV channels, phones, and video conferencing. So in this, by using this internet, so we are going to access all these multimedia files, so which includes radio, music, TV, and all. So these are all the examples where we can access with the help of internet. And here you can see a typical portion of the internet where all the devices are connected here. Okay, so if you take for example, let me take this. Say, so a typical portion of the internet can be seen like this. So here you can see these are all the desktop computers, you can say, so which we are using in our house or in our colleges or in our offices. So all the desktop computers, personal computers, right? So which are connected to the internet service provider. Like we have connected with our network service providers like AT, okay, or GeoNet, like that. We are going to have the internet service provider where all the devices are connected to it. So these are all the desktop computers. So similarly, you can see the servers here. Okay, some n number of servers. So servers will be there. So where the servers are also connected to the network. So this is the network link. These are all the network links where it is going to be shared. The network is going to be shared to the all the n number of devices which are connected in the network. So here you can see this is the backbone. This is a backbone. This is a satellite link. So we will receive all these internet connections from the satellite link, from where it is going to be shared to the internet service providers. So different service providers will take different bandwidths and they will share to the end users. So these are all the end users. These are all the end users who are accessing the internet. So here you can clearly see the definition of the distributed systems. So what we have defined, so in a distributed systems is nothing but, so all the n number of computers which are connected to a network, okay, and which are communicated and coordinated with the help of message passing. So all the message passing can be done with the help of this internet. If this system wants to communicate with this system, it simply sends a message through this internet service provider. Okay, with the help of this internet service provider, they are going to send a message from this one to this one. So that is how the n number of systems are going to be connected. Even here you can see the heterogeneous systems as well. So here this system and this system may not be the same. So may not have the same softwares, may not have the same hardwares. So it may be different hardwares and different softwares will be there. So both are heterogeneous systems, but still they can able to communicate with the help of internet. because they are connected through the internet. Okay, so that is how we can see a typical portion of the internet, right? And so, and next one, intranet. So internet, intranet. So what is the difference in the intranet? So intranet is simply, we can say, it's a portion of the internet. Nothing but it can be configured and it can be controlled by the local servers. So that is what called as intranet. So an intranet is a portion of the internet that is separately administered and has a boundary that can be configured to enforce local security policies. So like that, we can have a portion of the internet that can be administered by a particular team. So we can configure it. Okay, so that is what called as internet. So they are also going to have a connection between n number of nodes. So like what we have seen in the internet connections. So this is a typical intranet architecture, we can say, where we are going to have different end users like this. Okay, here you can see the desktop computers. Okay, so all the desktop computers are connected to the network. So this is the local area network, LAN, which is connecting all these devices so that they can able to communicate and they can able to coordinate. So that is how we can see. Here you can see the router or firewall. So where the data is going to be shared from here. So you also can see the file servers, email servers, different servers which are connected to the same network. So all these are said to be nodes in the distributed network. So with this, we can able to communicate and we can able to coordinate between the nodes with the help of internet, intranet. And next one is mobile networks. So we are all using mobile networks, right? So every mobile will have its own network, whether it is Idea or Airtel or BSNL or Jio, whatever it may be. So every mobile device is having its own network. So that is another network which is connecting the devices. Suppose if I say, if I want to send a message to my friend, right? So how can I send? I will use my mobile data and he will use his mobile data, maybe different service providers, but still I can send a message to him, right? So that is how the mobile networks, we are going to connect with one another and we are able to sending the messages to one another. So how it is happening? Because of the mobile networks. So that's the reason this is also one kind of network which is connecting the distributed systems. So technological advances in device miniaturization and wireless networking have led increasingly to the integration of small and portable computing devices into distributed systems. So you all know, so as the technology improves, so all the devices are minimizing. It is reducing its size, isn't it? So like that the mobile devices has arisen. So with that technology, so we are having all the devices in the distributed network as a handheld devices. So let us see what are the devices which we are carrying with our hands, okay, which are easily connecting with the networks and which are very small. So these devices includes laptop computers and handheld devices. Laptops we all know, so everyone is using the laptops, which are mini systems, so which are small systems. Previously we used to have a big CRT monitors and all, right? So now it is reduced to its size, so very small size, right? So like that, so all the laptops we are going to carry and they are going to be a part of the distributed network. And similarly handheld devices, like handheld devices means we can hold in the hand. So very small devices which includes PDS, right? So personal digital assistants, mobile phones, pagers, video cameras, digital cameras. All devices we are holding, we can hold in the hand, which means that they are handheld devices and which can be connected through a network and they can transfer the data from one device to another device. So they are all the part of the distributed systems. And next one, wearable devices. So wearable devices means we can wear on our hand, on our body. So which we can give smartwatches as a best example. So we all have the smartwatches, right? So smartwatches can connect to the network and they can store the data, okay, and they can share the data to another devices, right? So they are all the wearable devices, we can say. And devices embedded in appliances. So in appliances also there are many advances happening, right? So many appliances which includes washing machines, hi-fi systems, cars, refrigerators. So all these devices also having the network connectivity, so that they can able to connect to the other systems as well. So by using the network and by using the network, either internet or intranet. So here you can see the portable and handheld devices in a distributed systems. So all the devices which we are handling, all the devices which we have handling in hand, or any devices which we have discussed so far, so they may be a part of the distributed network. Okay. So like this, mobile phones, okay, and any laptops, cameras, okay, printer, all are handheld devices, so which can be connected to the local internet called as host internet, and in turn they are connected to the internet, okay, which is provided by the internet service providers. So like that, all the handheld devices can also be connected to the internet like this, okay. And these are the other examples which include apart from the internet, intranet, okay, and mobile networks. So these are the another examples where we can see in the distributed systems. So one is cluster. So cluster is basically, it's a type of parallel or distributed processing system which consists of a collection of interconnected standalone computers, so cooperatively working together as a single integrated computing resource. The computers may be standard but uniprocessor or multiprocessor. So basically a cluster is a group of computers. So it will actually works on a technique called as parallel computing and distributed computing. So parallel or distributed processing we can say. So where the systems are going to work parallelly, okay, and distributed processing can be done. So which consists of a collection of interconnected standalone computers. So all are connected to one another and they are going to work together as a single. So all the n number of computers which are connected in a distributed system as a cluster can work for a single task. So like that, the cluster network is going to be one of the best example for distributed systems. And another example is grid computing. So it's also a type of parallel or distributed computing system that enables sharing, selection and aggregation of geographically distributed autonomous resources dynamically at runtime depending on their availability, capability, performance, cost and users' quality of service requirements. So it is similar to the cluster technique, but it is going to have additional features like sharing, selection and aggregation